Most of you watch English content every single day. Netflix, YouTube, podcasts, movies. You are consuming English like it's your job. And because of that, you feel like your English is good. You feel like you understand a lot. But the moment someone speaks to you, a native speaker, a colleague on a video call, a client on the phone, you freeze. You catch maybe 60% of what they said. You ask them to repeat, and you feel embarrassed. Here's what's interesting. You are not bad at English. You are bad at listening to English. And there is a very specific reason for that. You have been reading English for years, not really listening to it. Today, I'm going to show you exactly why subtitles, even English subtitles, can quietly destroy your listening skills if you're not careful. And I'm going to give you a two-track system to fix exactly that. Hey everybody, how's it going? Thiago here, and in my 20-year career as an English teacher, I have seen this problem more times than I can count. Learners who are intelligent, dedicated, motivated, and still can't follow a native speaker in real time. And the subtitle habit is almost always somewhere in the equation. So today, let's talk about this honestly. Let me explain what's happening when you watch a video with subtitles on. First, your eyes and your ears are competing for the same job. They're both trying to understand the language. And here's the problem. When subtitles are on the screen, your brain almost always chooses the eyes, every time. Why? Because reading is faster and more efficient for your brain than decoding spoken sound. Reading feels easier, so your brain naturally takes the shortcut, the easy way out. What this means in practice is that your ears are basically on vacation most of the time. You think you're practicing listening, but you're actually practicing reading the subtitles. You are getting better at reading English, not at processing spoken English. Now, let me be very clear here. I am not saying subtitles are bad. They're not. Subtitles are a powerful learning tool. But, like any tool, it depends on how you use it. Let me give you an example here. Let's say you use a hammer to drive in a screw. The hammer is a perfectly good tool, but it's the wrong tool for that specific job. Subtitles are just like the hammer. They are great for some things, but for listening practice, wrong tool. You see, the problem isn't the subtitles themselves. The problem is when learners use subtitles for everything and never train their ears to work without that safety net. And eventually, and this happens gradually, you don't even notice. Your listening skills simply stop developing. They plateau. And I'll tell you something else that happens. Your confidence takes a hit too. Because deep down, you know that if someone removes that text from the screen, you're in trouble. Now, here's what I see in my classes all the time. And this is actually the reason why I wanted to make this video. I've had private students, motivated, serious learners who study consistently. Good vocabulary, good grammar, good pronunciation even. But when I ask them a question out loud, they usually ask me to repeat it. Every time. Sorry, Thiago, can you say that again? But then, if I show them the same question written on a slide, written on the screen, they get it immediately. Right away, no hesitation. That's not a language problem. That is a listening problem. Their brain has been trained to receive English through the eyes, not through the ears. And this is what subtitles do when they become a permanent crutch, when you only depend on them. Here's the reality. In the real world, there are no subtitles. Your boss doesn't send you subtitles on a call. Your client doesn't repeat themselves 3 times. In a job interview, you need to hear the question, process it, and respond in real time. No safety net. So if your listening skills are behind your reading skills, and for most of you, they are, you're going to hit a wall exactly when it matters most. Now, before I give you the 2-track system to fix this, let me invite you to download my app, the B2 Edge, because inside the app, my AI coach puts you in real speaking role plays every day. Job interviews, professional conversations, high-stakes scenarios. The coach asks, you listen, you respond. No script, no subtitles, no safety net. The app is a great place for you to find out if this system that I'm going to give you now is actually working for you. So if you want to check it out, the link is in the description of this video. Also, I'm going to leave a pinned comment down below. All right, so here is the system I want you to implement to start practicing your listening skills more effectively. I'm calling it the two-track system. The idea is really simple. Some of your English watching time is spent with subtitles, and some of it is spent without subtitles. Both tracks serve a different purpose. Both are necessary. Neither one alone is enough. So let me break it down. Track 1 is your input track. This is where you watch content with English subtitles on. Not subtitles in your native language. English subtitles. You're reading and listening simultaneously. And this track is incredibly valuable for vocabulary acquisition, grammar patterns, spelling, and comprehension of complex ideas. Let me give you an example here. Let's say you're watching a documentary about space exploration, and they use the word propulsion. Without subtitles, you might miss it or not catch the spelling. With English subtitles, though, you see the word, you hear the word, and your brain makes the connection. That word is more likely to stick in your memory. That's input track doing its job. The rule for track 1 is this: English subtitles only. If you are watching with subtitles in your native language, you are not doing it properly. You are doing something else entirely. You are watching a video in your own language that happens to have English audio. Your brain is processing your mother language, period. So that's not effective. Now, how much time should you spend on track 1, only watching things with English subtitles on? I would say about 60% of your English watching time, maybe even 70% if you are still at a B1 level. That should be the dominant track. It's where most of your vocabulary and grammar is going to come from. But let's continue now with track 2. Now, track 2 or approach 2 is your listening track. This is where you remove the subtitles completely, and this is where you train your ears. This is where you develop the ability to decode spoken English in real time without a visual safety net. And I want to be honest with you, this track is uncomfortable. This approach is uncomfortable, at least at the beginning. You're going to miss things. You're going to catch 70% of what they said and miss 30, if not more. And that discomfort is exactly the point. That discomfort is your brain working. That is the zone where real growth happens. Let me give you an example here. Imagine you watch a 10-minute YouTube video, no subtitles. You understand most of it, but there's a section in the middle where the speaker talks fast, and you lose the train of thought. Don't panic. Don't rewind 10 times. Just let it play. Try to catch the general meaning from context. That ability, catching meaning from context, even when you miss individual words, is one of the most important listening skills you can develop. And you only develop it by practicing without subtitles on. Now, what content should you use for track 2? To watch things without subtitles. My recommendation is use content you have already watched on track 1. In other words, you have already consumed with English subtitles. Watch it with subtitles first. Learn the vocabulary, understand the content, then the same video, the same episode, watch it again without subtitles. Now you're not fighting to understand the topic and the language at the same time. You can focus entirely on your ears, on the sounds, on the rhythm. This removes one layer of difficulty and makes the listening training far more effective. I used to do that all the time with my favorite sitcoms. I used to love watching Friends and Two and a Half Men, and I used to have the DVD box sets, So what I would do is I would just play the episode multiple times, the same episode, First, the episode with the subtitles in English, audio in English. Then right away, the same episode, but without subtitles. But the funny thing is that by the second or even third time I was watching it without subtitles, I felt like I understood pretty much everything because I had already seen it at least once with subtitles. So I highly recommend you do the same. Now, how much time should you spend on track 2 on the second approach? I recommend at least 30% of your English watching time. If you are already at a B2 level, push that up to 40%. The idea is the stronger your English already is, the more you need to be challenging your listening, not just maintaining your reading comprehension. All right, so you have the 2 tracks. But how do you know if your listening is actually improving? After spending some time watching 60 or 70% of the things with the subtitles in English, and then 30 or 40% of the things without subtitles, how do you know your listening is actually improving? Let me give you a simple test that I always share with my students. I call it the audio-only challenge. Take any English video you have never seen before. Start it. No subtitles. Give it 3 minutes. Then ask yourself this. Do I understand the main idea? Can I follow the general conversation? If yes, you're in good shape. Your listening is working. If no, you miss most of it and you're lost. Don't worry, that is data. That is telling you that your listening skills are lagging behind your reading skills. And now you know what to work on. Run this test at least once a month. Same format, 3 minutes, no subtitles, unfamiliar content, a video you have never seen before. After doing this for a while, you will start to see the improvement. And when you do, that is a real confidence booster, because now you know that your English works even without the safety net or the security blanket of the subtitles. Let me tell you why this matters beyond language. It's about identity. It's about how you see yourself as an English speaker. Right now, many of you have built your English identity around reading. You are confident with text. You are confident with writing even. But the moment it becomes audio, a call, a conversation, a meeting, you feel like a different person, less capable, less confident. This 2-track system I shared with you fixes that. It rebuilds your identity around both skills equally. And that is when you stop feeling like you're performing in English and start feeling like you're just speaking it, understanding it, using it. All right, before we recap here, let me quickly flag the mistakes I see most often with this. Mistake number 1, switching to subtitles in your native language when track 2 gets hard. I understand the temptation, but the moment you switch to your mother tongue, you have exited the English zone completely. Now, your brain has permission to relax. The learning stops. Keep it in English, even if it's hard, even if you miss things at first. Mistake number 2, only doing track 2 with content that is too difficult. If you put yourself in front of native speakers talking fast about a complex topic you know nothing about, and you have 0 subtitles, that's not a challenge. That's punishment. Start with content at your level, content you already know, and build the skill gradually from there. Mistake number 3, giving up on track 2 after just 1 session. Your ears need repetition. They need training over time, just like any other skill. One uncomfortable session without subtitles doesn't mean the system doesn't work. It means you are still in the early stages, on day 1. Real growth only happens in the zone of discomfort. Remember that. All right, let's do a quick recap here. The core idea for today, the main takeaway is your eyes and ears are always competing when subtitles are on. At some point in your learning journey, you have to give your ears their own dedicated training time. Track 1, it's the input track. Remember, here you watch things with the subtitles on. Why? To build vocabulary, grammar, spelling comprehension, and this is about 60 to 70% of your watching time. But then use track 2, the listening track. Now you watch without subtitles, train your ears, develop real-time audio decoding, and that should be at least 30% of your watching time. Rewatch content you already know for best results. And also, don't forget to run the audio-only challenge. At least once a month, test yourself. Pick a video that is unfamiliar, you have never seen before, no subtitles, and watch it for 3 minutes. See how much you can understand. Track your progress. If you wasn't comfortable, you did it right. Now you have the 2-track system and 2 choices to make. Number one, you apply both tracks by yourself. And you should. That's the work. Build a habit, train your ears, run the monthly challenge. That system works if you are consistent. But then you also have option number two. You open the B2 Edge app and you take what you've been building into a real test. My AI coach puts you in speaking role plays, professional conversations, real scenarios, pressure situations. The coach speaks, you listen, you respond. No subtitles, no script. Just the skill you've been training under conditions that actually matter. The two tracks build a foundation. The B2 Edge is where you find out if your foundation is solid. So, click the link in the description and I'll see you inside the app. I'm Thiago. Thank you very much for hanging out with me today. I hope you enjoyed this video and I'll talk to you in the next one.